The technology from blockchain and just the whole AI wave in general, that crypto
AI is
kind of
not a wave, brother.
Well, I want him to talk
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
The wave. How much is it integrated into? How much do people need to look into
Yeah.
to take it seriously?
So a few things. So blockchain is basically plumbing, right? What blockchain is it's pipes for data to get from point A to point B in a safer, more efficient way.
And know how you got there.
Yeah, and have verification exactly how you got there, right? So depending on what your product is,
Baby. My boy learns finance. He's becoming a financial advisor just through this podcast.
if your product is something where like tickets, right? Everyone's always pissed off at Ticketmaster, right? Because they somehow manage to fuck everyone over
Everything.
all the time, all the time. I tried getting my daughter cross tickets the other day, and it was like just as bad as the Taylor Swift thing. So tickets over the blockchain could be really interesting, right? Because now, if it's going from one hand to another hand to another hand, you can verify that they're legit, who they're coming from. That makes sense. But I've also had people pitch me things like Uber on the blockchain. There's no reason Uber needs to be on the blockchain. It doesn't make any sense, right? So like, blockchain is useful if the technology helps you achieve going from point A to point B. Just working it into your name doesn't mean anything, right? And then AI in many ways is the same thing, which is there are AI companies, but ultimately every product, every service will be fueled with some way or another by AI. It may be the predominant technology, it may just be a piece of the
So I'm
puzzle.
gonna say it again. Every company is going to be like,
Eventually,
I want us
yeah.
to slow down
Because it's necessary.
No,
Well, it's just like computers in general, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, look, AI is going to take a while to develop. It's going to take a lot of different forms. But, self-driving cars is a form of AI, right?
It also has to be regulated, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
In fact,
It has to be the most regulated.
yeah.
We
Well,
also
here's what's scary about
is-
AI
is
regulation. which is
Everything.
Congress.
Everything's scared by
There,
AI.
there are 3 or 4 big tech regulations that should have happened in this country about 10 years ago that Congress, because it's such a fucking mess, never got their act together to do. And if they don't do these things before AI really kicks in, it's terrifying to think what the world is going to look like. Right? So, for example, in Europe, if you use the internet, you have certain privacy rights. Right? In the U.S., you have none. Right? And everybody, Republicans, Democrats, everybody wants them, but nobody can agree because they're so incompetent how to do it, right? Or antitrust, right? I think most people agree Google, Amazon, Apple, these guys have too much market power. So like, I can't invest in a new startup to compete with them because they're just too powerful. They should be broken up. That's the point of antitrust law, but it hasn't really happened yet. Or this is now going to get really granular, but there's this thing called Section 230. And what it is when it passed in 1996, it said that if you're an internet platform, if you're YouTube or Instagram or Twitter, if I defame you on Twitter, you can sue me, but you can't sue Twitter. And the problem then becomes
Twitter's never held accountable.
Never accountable, and it's worse than that. How do they make the most? They make their money on advertising, so it's clicks. How do you get the most clicks? Controversy, toxicity. It's in their economic interest for things to be as bad as possible.
Especially here. In this
Especially,
country.
for sure. And so all of the incentives are the wrong way. So the internet has become this cesspool that's really dangerous for a lot of people. If we were just to say, you know what, that Section 230, that law was necessary 30 years ago to help create the internet, but now we need different rules to protect people. So the terrifying thing about AI is we're not even regulating Internet 2.0 properly,
Yeah.
right? And here we're going to go to Web 3. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot to worry about.
Yeah. And you need to find ways to regulate IP.
For sure.
with AI.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Who owns what, right?
Exactly.
It's going to be totally complicated.